In this episode of Pop Culture Weekly, I talk to Joe Manganiello all about Deal or No Deal Island, and I talk with Chase Stokes and Lana Condor all about their brand new movie, Valiant One. Let's go!
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and I thank you so much, as always, for hanging out with me for another episode of Pop Culture Weekly. This is an interview-only episode, and I promise you, next episode we're going back to, the typical format. But we have a couple of interviews for today. First up is Joe Manganiello. Joe has been an actor, in the business for a while. It's been both in TV and film. And I would say his first big breakout role was as Alcide in True Blood on HBO. And he was a fan favorite that entire run from 2010 to 2014. He's been in all kinds of movies and TV shows, as I mentioned. He, of course, is Big Dick Richie in Magic Mike and Magic Mike XXL. Deathstroke, of course, the famous DC Comics villain in Justice League, among many other titles. He's also very passionate about fitness. He was a 3-sport athlete in high school and college. He's authored books on health and wellness and has been a huge advocate for numerous charities as well. So, Joe is currently hosting and producing Deal or No Deal Island on NBC and Peacock. It's a spinoff, obviously, of Deal or No Deal, and this features contestants that are competing in physical challenge on an island, and they retrieve briefcases containing cash values. And then the winner of each challenge selects a contestant to play the Banker's Challenge in a segment that's like the traditional Deal or No Deal. And in the first season, the winner won $3.75 million. So it's pretty high stakes, pretty nice. And season 2 has upped the stakes, and it's really just a fun show. So I'm going to talk to him about that and about Army of the Dead. Going to ask him for an update on Army of the Dead Las Vegas, as well as, what we can expect from him next. So let's get into my interview with the one and only Joe Manganiello. Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. First of all, thanks for speaking with me. I really appreciate it. You are in the middle of Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. How did you get involved? You're hosting and producing. How did you get involved in that?
It was an incoming call. NBC and Endemol Shine wanted to speak to me about this show idea that they had. And we had about a 90-minute conversation. It was about like 12 people on this call. Once they started explaining it to me, I just knew that this is my show. This is a perfect show for me and my personality. And they thought the same thing. So it was we were off to the races.
Yeah, and it's so enjoyable to watch you, and especially in, it's not a film role, you know what I mean, or a television role in that traditional regard. It's more, you're more loose, and your personality really shines through.
Great, yeah. I think it's very close to who I am. I would say that, yeah.
And how has the experience, now you're in the middle of season 2, which is on right now. How has the experience been for you? You have one full season under your belt. You've, I assume, filmed the second season, which is out now. How's it been for you, the experience overall? Was it what you thought it would be?
Well, you never know. You never know how people are going to receive it. You never know how the game's going to go, if things are going to line up. But all of that has by far exceeded my expectations, and I just love it. I love hosting the show. I love running the show. It's a blast. And, I hope I get to do it for many, 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 many years. So, I mean, I would do this show forever. It's awesome.
I love that, and I think people are enjoying it. I certainly do, and people that I talk to really think it's a great twist, and it's fun, and it's just a great show. So kudos to you on that. Are you able to, as the host and EP, are you able to kind of, do you ever have favorites? And if so, are you able to separate that from, as a viewer, as a fan of what's happening, from, somebody that's running it?
Sure. Yeah, no, of course. There are people that, especially sometimes you hear somebody's story and you think, boy, it would be great to see them win this, or just certain people's personalities. You're like, that's a great person. That's they're just super great. You're rooting for them. And then, conversely, sometimes there's people that, you're like, boy, I'd really be okay if they got eliminated. You're human. You have all those you have all those impulses, but my job is to not ever let that get in the way of what's going on in the show. But, again, like being aware of it and also being a conduit to the audience, my brain is processing all that information in a way that's like, I bet you if I think this or feel this way about a person, the audience is going to think and feel that way too. Mm-hmm. So you're being very conscious of all of that while you're running the game.
And are you ever surprised at the outcome? Obviously as viewers we are, but you have more insight, a lot more time with the contestants and the games and all. Are you ever, shocked at what happens just like we are watching?
Of course. Oh, you see me in season 1, I'm fist pumping. I can't believe it. Boston Rob hit that target. I was like, what? Mean, you're just, I'm setting up the drama. I'm setting up everything so that when that final event happens or that challenge happens, it's like setting up the putt to win the Masters, or you're setting up that near perfect bowling game with one ball left, or that ninth inning, 2 outs, that at bat. You're setting all of that up. So, you get caught up in it all, of course, and especially this season. The person that wins breaks the all-time television game show record, and it was the most insane thing I've ever witnessed in my life.
Wow. As you're watching, as you're recording, filming, and then you go, presumably there's a period where you're able to step away after it's wrapped. Do you go and watch with that same excitement, when it's on NBC? Yeah,
of course. Well, I'm also in on, while during the process of editing. I'm always in there, and I'm going in as we're refining the episodes and tweaking and fine-tuning, and, I give notes and things like that on episodes and what works and what doesn't, or, what I think, was missing, or things I remember that are in the can somewhere from shooting from the island. But, yeah, no, of course. I actually just watched the finale of the season put together, and I was like jumping in my chair. I'm not kidding. It's like, it's electric.
Let's talk about a teaser. For the challenges, are there challenges that, because it's got to be fun to come up with some of these. How does that process work for you when you're working through them?
Well, we have a team that puts together challenges. I get to pitch challenges as well. But they're complex and they're strategic, and and there are certain kind of guidelines that you follow, and there's certain aspects to the show's own personality that you have to kind of follow, that kind of differentiate our show from some of the other competition series. So, once I'm there on the island, I'll go out while the team is testing out the challenges with, we have kind of like stand-in contestants and things like that. So I'll kind of get a feel for how it's going to run. I want to understand where the strategic points are. I want to try to wrap my brain around it so that I'm ready, and I know what I'm looking at, and I know what's at stake when the actual challenges are filmed. So, yeah, it's a process.
Have you ever participated in any of them yourself? I mean, obviously not in the show.
No, I don't really have time for it because of just my schedule when I'm there.
Yeah.
I've But I definitely want to. Are you kidding? Yeah, totally.
Finally, you have some cool stuff coming up, including a film called Nona's, right?
Yes.
How excited are you about that? It looks great.
It's going to be on Netflix towards the end of the spring, early summer. Great comedy that I played Vince Vaughn's best friend, and there's some other great Italian-American actors in it: Lorraine Bracco, Talia Shire, Brenda Vaccaro, Drea Di Matteo, Linda Cardellini. Great, it's all about being Italian food. It's fantastic.
And what else can we look forward to in the near future for you?
Well, some point in the future, I've begun filming for One Piece, which is the adaptation of the best-selling manga and anime in Japanese history that was adapted by Netflix, and it's become the biggest show in the world.
Yeah.
So I play a very notorious pirate on the show, and that'll start airing at some point.
Awesome. And Army of the Dead Las Vegas, is that ever coming?
It's dead.
Okay.
It's dead.
Gotcha.
That is, as far as like what happened, I'm probably not at liberty to say what happened. But yeah, that is dead.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you. I can't wait for everybody to continue watching Deal or No Deal Island. It's so much fun, and you're just so great in it. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. Such a great guy. I love his work. I love the Magic Mike films, which sounds crazy, but they're actually like really great dramas. I mean, and it has super high pedigree for the filmmakers. So, but he's great in those films. I love him in, of course, True Blood, and really just everything he's done. So, love having him on. Hope to have him again for Nona's, which comes out later this year. All right, let's take a quick break, 30 seconds, and when we come back, we are going to speak with Chase Stokes and Lana Condor all about their brand new film, Valiant One. All right, welcome back. Thank you for hanging out with me and supporting our sponsors that make this show able to happen every single week, every single episode. So next up, Valiant One is a new film from Steve Barnett, the director, and stars Chase Stokes and Lana Condor. It follows a routine mission by a Army helicopter crew kind of in between the borders of North and South Korea, or I guess at the border. And ultimately, I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible, Sergeant Edward Brockman, played by Chase Stokes, is assigned to a mission who kind of must step up. Lana Condor plays Selby, and so it's a great like war film, but it's like an action-y thriller war film. It's really enjoyable, and Chase and Lana are great in it. So Lana Condor is an actress who made her debut as Jubilee in X-Men Apocalypse. And then, of course, Lara Jean Covey in To All the Boys movie franchise films. Great actor with an interesting life. And she's amazing in Valiant One. And Chase Stokes, best known as John, the star of Outer Banks on Netflix. This is his first big starring role in a big film like this. So he also is currently dating Kelsey Ballerini. So, like, what? Awesome. So, in any event, let's talk about Valiant One with Lara Condor and Chase Stokes. Congratulations to both of you on the film. It really is an awesome movie that is both action-packed, thrilling, and dramatic, and it really is enjoyable to watch. So congrats to both of you.
Thank you very much.
So let me start by asking, Lana, I believe that I read, were you once in the Navy?
No, no, my brother's in the Navy.
Your brother's in the Navy?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's actually currently stationed in Japan right now.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank
him.
You and your brother for his service. Did you talk to him at all, as you were preparing for the role?
Honestly, not really. I think I didn't talk to him because I I don't know why. I talked to like my uncle who's a general. I talked to other family members who are in the military. But for my brother, I didn't really talk to him about it. I don't really know why. I think maybe it came from this sense of like I really so badly wanted to do him justice, and I felt like just nervous to even bring it up. So I actually didn't really talk to him about it, but I will say like he doesn't often watch a lot of my work, and I do think that this might be one of the first movies that he watches of mine. So that's great. Well, oh my God, I hope he likes it. I guess we'll find out soon.
He's like, we'll find out.
Yeah.
So are you nervous about that? I feel like that's like a big thing.
I'm really, really nervous. I'm really, really genuinely honest to God nervous, like I'm going to throw up. I just like really did want to do this movie for a huge part because of him, and my heart will break if he says that like I didn't do it right, because we really tried on this film to honor the men and the women that serve, and we tried so hard to make it realistic. And I think if he were to tell me that it wasn't, that would be
shut up.
That would be a real bummer.
Yeah. Is that what attracted you to the movie?
Yeah, definitely the familial ties. I know that Chase comes from a military family as well, but also the opportunity to show a different side of myself as an artist. I feel like I've been doing rom-coms for so long, and I love doing them, but I know that there's more in me, and I really wanted the opportunity to show that, and so hopefully that came through.
I think it did.
Thank you.
How about for you, Chase? What attracted you to the role of Brockman?
Yeah, I think it's everybody has that friend that you look at and you say, you could just be doing so much more with your life.
Wow, yes.
And the fact that there was a character that I felt that immediately jump off the page felt like a story and a character that I wanted to bring to life. And then when Lana jumped on board, it just felt like a really cool opportunity because I knew that we had a similar want to flex that muscle in different areas of our careers. So I knew that she had like a hunger to be like, all right, hold my beer, like let's do something different.
Yeah.
And I was in the same space. So I think just that, and then my grandfather and my great grandfather served, and I have friends who are in the military, and I just wanted to do a different version of a war film that felt a little more character focused, and this really hit home for me.
I love that. And one of the things that I love about the film is, it's very raw in the fact that Brockman, all the characters, but Brockman, I think in particular, I feel like he is a leader, but he needs to get there.
Right.
It's kind of like a flaws and all sort of thing, which is kind of all of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, he is the modern tech soldier. He is somebody who sits at a desk 9 to 5 and analyzes data and assesses situations, and that's what he does. He's been to basic like everybody else, but just like with Selby, these characters haven't been in the
Faced with
field.
combat.
Right, there's no combat experience. So when you're faced with adversity, what happens? Do you go instinctually into that training that they all have? And there's something really interesting about the human experience when fight or flight comes in.
Yes.
And what happens there. And so watching him shift from, like you hear, wanting to go to Silicon Valley and have a 7-figure contract into, becoming a leader and taking on responsibility was a fun role to kind of tackle.
Yeah.
How about for you, Lana?
I think it's kind of like adapt or die, and I think I think what you said about like fight or flight or freeze, that is so true, and I hope that audiences will come out of the theater and be like empowered that like they, no matter what, can survive. If you want it, you can survive. You just you adapt.
Right.
Period. I mean, we're seeing that, all over the world, but it's like there are normal people put in extraordinary circumstances, and you have to adapt and you have to keep going. And you are strong enough to do that. And I mean, even with the LA wildfires, like seeing the community come together and being like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like, we're going to support each other. We're gonna get through this devastating time. Like, that's in all of us, even if we don't necessarily think that, And I think that's empowering and very, and a great message.
Yeah, and kind of along those lines, now that I think about it, I love, big giant superhero movies as much as the next person, but Valiant One really kind of looks at our everyday superheroes, if you will.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting to me because, as Chase was saying, in many ways you're sitting at a desk, and what a hero may look like traditionally to somebody might not look like that to what others think, but still they're there doing it, in support of the mission, which is to keep us safe or, whatever that may be. So, it really does, the film really does kind of take a peek under that curtain, if you will, in both ways.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. And Chase, you've spoken about having imposter syndrome before, which I know I've struggled with myself. As you have been establishing a career as an actor, have you found that, you're leading a film with Lana right now, talking, doing a press junket for it. Does that give you more comfortability, or is that something that you think is still a struggle?
I think my goal is just at my core, I just want to tell great stories with great people and continue to collaborate in this space. And I think whenever you put yourself out there, especially in the artist space, it's vulnerable and you're naked often. Yeah. And there's nothing not scary about that. And I think the beauty of it is finding that little switch in your brain that gives you the opportunity to just push forward and give the performances that you're really proud of. And so I think I'll never not have imposter syndrome, and I think I allow myself to be at peace with that. But ultimately for me, I'm just very fortunate that people like Lana want to do films with me, and they believe in my art in the same ways that I've believed in hers and will continue to believe in hers. And I think that's just where I'm at, and it's just the next right thing. I can't get too far ahead or look too far back because none of it matters as much as this moment in time right now.
That's beautiful. And I don't know if either of you have ever heard of the book, The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown, but I'm trying to make that my Bible because,
It's a great
as you
read.
said, being vulnerable, putting your art out there or telling somebody how you really feel is scary, and there's a whole world, it seems, sometimes that is out there ready to judge you whenever you do take that step and be vulnerable. So I applaud you both for speaking about it now and being brave enough to share your story, because it helps in my opinion, it helps so many other people that are like, wait a second, I feel that too. And Chase is saying that, so it's okay for me to say that, So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Similarly, Lana, is that something you struggle with too, as you and Chase headline Valiant One?
To be frank, I have a really strong belief in myself. I think it was the way that I was raised, but my dad has a quote where he says, "Greatness is coming." And he said that to me since I was a baby. And I was raised to be proud of who I am. I was raised to be confident and smart. I think of course there are days where I'm like, oh my God, I really, really, really I'm insecure and I'm nervous about this, that, and the other thing. But in terms of my work, I actually do have a sense that I love to act, period. This is my favorite thing to do. Acting is all that I want to do. And therefore I just want to step into it. I do have this kind of, maybe it's a delusional sense of confidence, but I think so far it's working out.
Well, I was just gonna say, not to cut you off, you are so, it was really fun to watch, and it really encouraged me. You are instinctually so good at this craft, and you are so, she comes to set, and it is true. It was really mind blowing to watch. Instinctually, you're right on the nose. And if it's not that, the way that you can adjust and adapt, and her emotional range in this film is absolutely bananas. And I'm super excited for you as a co-star, as a friend, for people to see this performance. Because even watching it last night, I was like, oh my God, I'm so emotional watching the way that you connect with Diana, who plays Benna, and it's just cool to see people that you care about and have shared the screen with get an opportunity to flex the muscle in a way that maybe the world hasn't seen. And to be able to take confidence and power in that is so badass.
I just love what we get to do. It's the best. And and I just never wanted to go away.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Well, I will say as a viewer and as a movie lover, and it is a joy to watch both of you. However, both of you get there, you're getting there and you're delivering for,
Thanks, man.
audiences like me. And it's so important, in my opinion, for storytellers, whether it's actors or creators or journalists or whatever it is, to continue to tell their stories of people and humanity and all of that. And I can't wait for everybody to see Valiant One. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Chase. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for supporting the film, man. We appreciate it.
Of course. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too.
Lana Condor and Chase Stokes. I'm telling you, you got to go see Valiant One. If you first of all, if you love the kind of military war movies, you'll absolutely love this. But it's a great thriller. It's a great drama. It really is a very enjoyable film that I highly recommend you go and check out. So, all right, that is all for this episode of Pop Culture Weekly. We will be back next week with the usual format. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. And if you haven't noticed, I am pumping out videos across all social platforms. So there are some of my classic interviews, the long form ones. There's clips, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are. Hopefully, Pop Culture Weekly is there. So let me know what you think. Comment on the videos. Let me know what you want to see. Hit me up. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? What ideas do you have that we can do? Continue to be a part of this show, because the show does not exist without you. All right. I will see you next week. I love you. We out.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.
Valiant One, no war movies. Not Valiant 2, not Valiant 3, it's Valiant One.